Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am talking about a pen that is very dear to me but is not perfect in my eyes, and that is a Waterman Carène, and it is a lovely pen with a integrated nib. I don't know if this is gonna focus, but let's hope. And it is beautiful and sleek and it feels really good in the hand, but the writing experience is, for me, a little iffy. So I've inked this up with Waterman Simplicis Violet, which is, I think it's like a copy of Imperial Purple. That did not focus at all, I saw. And it's a lovely purple with some golden sheen. It's a lovely ink. Put that in here. So the first thing I want to talk about, and this is one of the reasons I did not ink it on camera, is that whenever I put the converter into this pen, so this is a cartridge converter. That was a great noise. Whenever I put the converter into the pen and put the nib into the ink and try to suck up the ink, nothing happens. So there's no suction of ink up into the pen. So I have to take out the converter, put the converter into the ink, fill it that way. What I then do is put the converter into the pen, let a drop of ink fall out, and dip the nib into the ink. That's basically what I did. I haven't tried it yet, so I hope it writes. It's gonna do the squeak again. I hope it writes, but that's basically how I ink it. And I haven't found a solution for this. Maybe I need to buy a new converter, but the converter works when I do it with the ink. It's not like a syringe fillet, I just twist it and when I have the top of it into the ink, so who knows. Anyway, I'm gonna give you a close-up shot and tell you the story of how I got this pen and why I still love it even though it is flawed. All right, let's switch the shot. Okay, here we are with the Waterman Carène. As you can see, it is black. It has silver trim or chrome trim, and it is a very kind of sleek looking pen. I have the one with the silver trim. This finish is called Black Sea. There is a version of this that actually has gold trim. My fiance has that. We bought these pens together when we were in the Netherlands together. He has been here a couple of times, but it was very special to me because we were in my favorite city of basically the world, and we were in a brick and mortar shop together, and it was kind of a surprise. We got to test a bunch of pens and it was fun, so we got them together. They were not cheap. I believe they were over 200 euros each. He has the gold trim, I have the chrome trim. So yeah. So this model, the Carène, was made in 1997. It has an inlaid nib or integrated nib, however you want to call it, and the grip basically goes from the feed to the cap band, so you can grip it anywhere. So you do have to be careful with this pen because the feeder hole is right there. If you grab that, you might get some inky fingers. I have a similar pen by Parker, which is the Parker 65. That always gives me inky fingers because I don't notice that I grab the grip, which is really dumb. But that happens. Anyway, this was made in 1997, the model. Before that, Waterman had two similar kind of pens in the same like vibe, and that was the Edson and the CF. I have a CF, I couldn't find it quickly, but they both had those like integrated inlaid nib styles. If you follow me for a while, you know I love these types of nibs. Like, I love a funky nib, and it looks so lovely. Nibs are 18K gold, and I wish I could say they're perfect writers. They are not. So I experienced with this pen baby's bottom, and I haven't had this nib worked on yet. I could have this nib worked on, but I just haven't had the chance. I did test this pen while I was writing at the store, but it was dipped, and when it's dipped, like there's a lot of ink on the nib and the writing experience just may vary. So it does have some hard start issues and I would like to have it fixed. So it's a Carène or Carène, I believe you're supposed to say, but I forget that every time. It was based on a yacht, so the shapes of it were based on a ship. And I see that, it's very sleek, and I love this, like that tapering end. Waterman does that a lot, the tapering end, and it's, in my opinion, it's cool. On the cap band, it says Waterman, and then France. But yeah, so this, it's not the most interesting colorway that exists. There are definitely more interesting colorways, but I still like it. It's very unobtrusive. It's kind of a stealthy pen. So yeah, let's do some writing. So I told you the story about the converter, which is not ideal. I hope it writes. I haven't actually tested whether the nib is saturated, but we'll see. So, a Waterman Carène. So I believe there's like a thing on there. This is a medium nib. And oh, to check the nib sizes on these pens, you have to look on the feed or above the feeder hole. It's really funny. Medium nib. The ink is Waterman Simplicities Violet. And I would not push this nib at all. Like, it makes me uncomfortable even to do that. Because it is an integrated nib, I would not try that very much. Funnily enough, it doesn't seem to be skipping very much right now, so it might be also dependent on the ink. I haven't used this in a hot minute because it has been skipping on the first downstroke a lot, which is indicative of baby's bottom. But yeah, doesn't seem to be doing that much right now. So I will definitely be trying to journal with it more to see if the ink has a very big influence. I must say this nib is also not perfectly smooth. But I must say that these kinds of nibs tend to have a sweet spot. So I might not be hitting the sweet spot. So it might be my fault. It's decently smooth. You guys know that I love me some feedback. I wouldn't call this actually feedbacky. It's just that it's not butter. So I have a Lamy 2000 that is like butter. It's like grossly smooth and wet. That is not this pen. I would definitely encourage you guys, if you like this model, to go try and test it at a store, and then make sure you don't have like a fully wet nib. Just wipe it off a little bit if you dip test it. As you can see, the ink goes into those crevices. It looks kind of cool, purple. So yeah, definitely make sure you test it properly before you buy one. It's not a cheap pen, you know. Yeah. So I do really enjoy this pen, and I do want to get it worked on a little bit so it doesn't skip like with different inks. So if you have a drier ink, this is I think a fairly wet saturated ink. If you have a drier ink, the baby's bottom may be more prevalent or noticeable, and I really want to get that worked on. And I think I might have it smoothed out because I feel like this pen should be completely smooth. It just fits the body and the shape and the elegance of it. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about this particular pen, please let me know. If there's anything you want to see on my channel, don't hesitate to ask. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.